The world's largest tournament of Starcraft 2. LG Cinema 3D Super Tournament. 64 players battle to win the $100,000 prize money. They all gave their best and the games were very competitive. A lot of champions and the legends were knocked out in round 64. Number 1 ranking IM MVP and a lot of strong Protoss players fell in round 32. Famous players such as IM Nesty and OGS Nada lost. But the Code A players remained strong in round 16. Final Protoss Slayers Alicia and the last Jerk, Zenex Lan, were defeated in round 8. The fan favorite, Marine King Prime Week, fell in round 4. 1 out of 64 chance is now 50-50 chance. Only 2 players that survived the vicious Super Tournament. Slayers MMA, Polt Prime Week. His pride and spirit is higher than ever. Starcraft 2 is bringing up a new legend, Slayers MMA, Moon Sung-won.
저는 그 선수가 우승 후보라고 생각을 안 했거든요. 그래서 이제 이겼으니까 제가 우승 후보가 되지 않았을까.
Beat the world's best Terrans and advance to the finals. The Terran who beats Terran.
64강부터 테란만 만나가지고 제가 또 테란전이 자신 있었거든요. 그래서 이거는 하늘에 계신가 싶기도 하고 이번에 꼭 우승할 수 있을 것 같아요. 일단 포스트 임요한이라는 말 자체가 굉장히 영광스럽고요. 그리고 요한 형께서 이제 굉장히 노력하는 모습을 많이 보이시거든요. 연습실에서도 연습을 굉장히 많이 하시고 저희 팀원 중에 제일 열심히 하세요. 그래서 그런 노력하는 모습을 닮고 싶은 선수가 되고 싶어요.
A Code A leaguer ranked 57 was his path to the final luck or skill.
슈퍼 토너먼트라는 대회가 코드 떼고 한판 붙는 거기 때문에 실력으로 승부하는 거기 때문에 실력이 좋기 때문에 올라온 것이라고 생각합니다.
With fierce battles, the only one remains. Polt Prime Week, 최성훈.
저희 팀에 정훈이가 결승에 정말 많이 진출했거든요. 그때마다 정훈이를 보면서 나도 한번 저 무대에 서보고 싶다 이런 생각을 정말 많이 했어요. 지금은 일단 그 꿈을 이뤘고 이제는 우승을 하는 것이 정말 목표가 됐어요. 제가 팀킬을 한번 하게 되면 다른 마음가짐이 돼요. 그 선수 목까지 열심히 해야 되니까. 그런데 제가 16강에서 곽하늘 선수를 떨어뜨려 버렸기 때문에 하늘이 목까지 열심히 하기 위해서 정말 최선을 다했고 그것이 좋은 결과가 나타나게 된 것 같아요.
100% win rate against Protoss. Beat the world's best Protoss.
프로토스 선수들이 한마음으로 절 미워하고 꺾고 싶어 하는 건 알겠는데요. 저는 개인적으로 프로토스전이 너무 자신이 있고 절대 질 거라고 생각하지 않기 때문에 뭐 좀 붙고 싶다면, 아니 지고 싶다면 코드 S에서 조지명식 때 절 뽑아주셨으면 전 더 좋을 것 같아요.
Overcame his weakness against Terran and advanced miraculously to the finals.
정훈이가 예전에도 장난식으로 한 번은 얘기했었어요. 형, 내가 지면 형이 꼭 복수해줘야 한다고. 근데 어쩌다 보니까 그게 현실이 되어버렸는데 자리는 마련되었으니 정훈이의 복수를 제가 대신해서 꼭 성공시키겠습니다. 정훈아, 형이 꼭 우승해서 너의 복수를 해줄게. 형만 믿어.
아마 같은 팀의 이정훈 선수의 느낌을 알게 될 거예요. 실망하지 않으셨으면 좋겠어요.
양준식 선수 물오른 기세로 올라왔다가 저한테 지는 거 한번 보셨을 거예요. 뭐 같은 팀이니까 양준식 선수를 이겼던 것처럼 그대로 이겨드리도록 하겠습니다.
우승 노리다가 아마 피보게 될 것 같아요.
뭐 문성원 선수 코드 A에 머무르고 있는 거 보면 그다지 큰 그릇은 아니라고 생각하고요.
콩라인.
그래봤자 뭐 만년 코드 A,
넌 3천만 원, 난 1억.
난 코드 S, 넌 만년 코드 A.
4대 0이나 4대 1 예상합니다.
너의 CPU를 잊지 마.
The fiercest battle to ever appear on Starcraft 2 and the last LG Cinema 3D Super Tournament Final. Slayers MMA versus Polt Prime Week. Who will take home $100,000 and become King of Terra? 대혼돈의 시대를 평정할 최후의 1인이 탄생한다. LG 시네마 3D 슈퍼 토너먼트 The Final. 테란의 시대를 연 새로운 이름.
And there's Slayers MMA. And the person who showed us great games throughout this tournament, Slayers MMA. And the one who never gives up.
지금 이 손이 하나가 되는 문성원 복장을 포치자가 아는 것을 어느 분에게 전달해주고 있습니다. 자, 진짜 문성원 플레이어스 분들이 환영하세요. 이제 드디어 돌아오는 차례에서 슈퍼 토너먼트 결승전 이분의 선수 여러분, NBA 문성원 선수에게 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다.
A round of applause for Slayers MMA.
반란과 이변 속에 살아남은 고드여스의 자존심 볼트 프라임 위 최성훈.
He is the pride of Code S, ladies and gentlemen. The pride of Code S.
Looking at those players popping out of this large ball reminds me of Pokemon. Just some random comment.
And it is I Pick You, Polt Prime Wii versus I Pick You, Slayers MMA.
팀의 우승을 향한 영혼은 오늘 이 무대 위에 이정훈이 아니 이정훈 그 인상에 최성훈에게도 모아지고 있습니다. 자, 이 무대로 그렇게 함께하는 뜨거운 환영.
Oh, and flags of Prime Wii.
There's a lot of fans from Prime Clan, which is one of the largest clans in Korea.
힘을 담아 가득 응원과 함께 아이들의 경기 준비를 하고 있는 최성훈 선수입니다. 명석하기는 나타나는군요. 그 무엇도 흔들리지 않는 강한 집중력. 이것이 최성훈의 힘이고 이것이 최성훈의 저력입니다. 프라이팀은 지금까지 단 한 번도 우승을 거머쥔 적이 없습니다. 자, 스탄 결승의 도전. 이번엔 포트프라임이 최성훈 선수가 해낼 것입니다.
Will he get revenge for Marine King Prime Week.
최상원 선수에게 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 세계 최강의 선수 64명이 한데 모였습니다. 그들에게 격이란 없었습니다. 모든 것을 허물어버렸죠. LG 시네마시티 슈퍼 토너먼트 64강전에서 시작된 이 결정이
The only two players left after 64 players in the LG Cinema Super Tournament. Players MMA and Polt Prime Week.
드디어 결실을 보게 되는 슈퍼토너먼트의 결승전. 이 자리에 서게 될 수 있어 무척이나 영광스럽게 생각합니다. 안녕하십니까. 저는 캐스터 이현주입니다.
My name is Lee Hyun-ju, the caster of the finals of the LG Cinema Super Tournament.
슈퍼토너먼트 결승전 벌써 이르게 되었네요. 시작과 더불어서 이변이 속출했던 그리고 수많은 이슈와
There's been a lot of
함께했던
upsets in Super Tournament.
전 세계적인 스타크래프트 2 팬들이 지금 이 순간 이 현장만을 바라보고 있는데요.
You're about to see a brand new champion of GSL.
자, 먼저 문성원 선수 소개 부탁드리겠습니다.
We'll start interview with
안녕하세요.
MMA.
슬레어 스테란 문성원입니다.
Hi, I'm Moon Sung-won from Players.
And there's his coach and his manager.
Slayer Stella and Boxer himself and his wife, Jessica.
반갑군요. 인사 부탁드리겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 프라임 테란 최성훈입니다.
I'm Choi Sung-moon from Prime.
기도 하고 열정이 묻어나는 아주 짧은 인사였습니다. 자, 문성원 선수와 최성원 선수를 이렇게 결승전 무대에 모시게 되니 이제 또 스타크래프트 2는 또 한번 진보하겠구나라는 생각이 듭니다. 자, 먼저 일단 이 현장의 관객들의 이 함성을 가장 받은 이 순간 결승전 소감 한 말씀 듣고 싶네요.
How do you feel to make it to the
일단
final?
처음에만 그리던 결승 무대에 올라서 너무 기쁘고요.
I've always dreamed of going to final
팬분들
stage,
응원에 미치지 않는 이제 경기력을 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
and I'll show you one of the best performance ever to the fans.
자, 순간성 역전 주목을 앓고 있는 문성원 선수. 오늘도 역시 우리는 역전의 드라마를 한번 기대해봐도 좋을까요?
아니 오늘은 4대 0으로 끝내겠습니다.
자,
Today I only want 4-0.
So he doesn't want comebacks like he usually does. He just wants to finish it as soon as possible.
올인을 선언하고 바로 단번에 결승까지 올랐습니다. 결승에 진출한 소감 한 말씀 듣고 싶네요.
And how do you feel about getting to the
결승
final?
무대는 꿈이 아니라 제 현실입니다.
And it was not a dream, it was reality. And now soon, winning it will be my reality.
결승에서의 가장 큰 적은 긴장이라고 했나요?
King Prime.
최성원 선수는 지난 4강전에서도 무척이나 긴장한 듯한 모습을 보였는데 자, 오늘 결승에는
You
어떻습니까?
seem very nervous in round of 4.
아니면 조금 더 떨립니까?
So are you nervous today or are you
친구들을
confident?
많이 만나서 그런지 오히려 긴장이 안 되고 더 상쾌한 기분이에요.
I'm not so nervous because a lot of my friends and teammates came today.
자, 문성원 선수는 지난 미디어 대회에서
And also supporters of the Team Prime Week.
개인전의 결승전은 GSL의 결승전에 비해 그 긴장감은 덜할 것이다 이런 이야기를
Is
했습니다.
Super Tournament final more does it give him more
지금
pressure than GSL Ace
빨리
match?
지지를 받아내고 싶습니다.
자, 빠른 지지 그리고 우승 트로피를 차지하고 싶다는 문성원 선수였네요. 자, 이 두 선수
I asked for a lot of support from the fans.
미란입니다. 팀들이 함께하고 있죠. 프라임 그리고 슬라이더스. 자, 그리고 GSL 사상에는 5번째 우승자를 탄생시킬 즈음인데요. 자, 오늘도 두 선수의 테마가 볼 수도 있는 만큼 최성원 선수에게 묻겠습니다. 이정우 선수가 오늘 아침 무엇하고 이야기하던가요?
And what did Marine King Prime say to him?
꼭 형이 가져야 한다고 말했습니다.
자, 이정우 선수 한잔 해주죠.
And he said, you have to win for me, for sure.
자, 어떤 식으로 정확한 인생이라고 전해주던가요?
4강전에서 문성원 선수를 상대한 경험이 있기 때문에 그것을 바탕으로 저에게 어떤 것이 좋은지 알려줬습니다.
So Marine King Prime gave Polt a lot of tips based on his match in round of 4 against MMA.
자, 여기서 문성원 선수가 속해 있는 슬레이어스에는 좋은 사람들이 많습니다. 그 안에서도 특히나 임용원 선수라는 걸출랑 어찌 보면 게이머들의 본보기가 되는 좋은 선수가 있는데요. 큰 영향을 미쳤을 것 같습니다.
네, 게임에서 제일 중요한 멘탈적인 부분에서 가장 많이 집어주셨고요. 그리고 이정훈 선수는 오늘 이후로 아마 잠을 제대로 못 자실 거예요.
I got a lot of
자, 지난번에 잔이하는 나가는 이정훈 선수의
support from boxer himself, especially when concerning mentality. And after today, Marine King Prime won't be able to sleep comfortably.
물부터 쌉싸자라는 네, 이 닉네임답게 별명답게 자, 어떻게 보면 양준식 선수가 오늘 문성호 선수에게 현장에서 무언가 한마디 했을 것 같아요.
별다른 말은 없었고요. 그냥 잘하라고만 했거든요.
네, 더불어서 그냥 문성호 선수가 이길 거라고 믿는다고도 했었죠.
예, 4대 0이나 4대 1을 예상하고 계시더라고요.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 문성호 선수는 4대 0, 4대 1을
So
예상했습니다.
his expected score is either 4-0 or 4-1. And Polt's expected score is 4-1, 4-0 for him.
4대 0 아니면 4대 1로 예상하고 있는데요. 승부의 행방은 어느 쪽으로 갈릴지 모르겠습니다.
And would the expectations come to reality?
두 선수의 출전을 들어보도록 하죠. 자, 먼저 최성원 선수 팬들에게 한 말씀 오늘 경기만 가보겠습니다.
여기 정말 많은 분들 모여주셨는데 실망시켜드리지 않도록
And
하겠습니다.
I will not disappoint all my fans, friends, and family.
자, 이어서 슬레이어스 MMA 문성원 선수 얼마 전에 있었던 MLG의 우승의 뒤를 이어 이번 슈퍼토너먼트에서 우승을 차지하며 그 계보를 이을 수 있을 것인지 자, 팬들에게 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
우승이 아니면 아무것도 아닌 그런 마음으로 이 무대의 주인공이 될 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
자,
And if I do not win, I will think it of as nothing. So I will win for sure.
In Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. Yeah.
Yes, that is it. And to
자, 문성원 선수,
congratulate.
최성원 선수의 빅 매치. 자, 과연 두 선수 중 우승을 하면 어떤 선수가 될까요? 자, 이 현장을 더욱더 뜨겁게 달구어줄 분들이 계십니다.
So before we start the final match,
We are
performance from Rainbow.
I
to meet you. We are Rainbow.
이렇게 LG시네마 3D 토너먼트 그것도 대박의 결승전에 초대받게 되어서
네.
And we are up to the finals of the LG Super
네.
Tournament.
저희가 작년 가을쯤이죠. 오픈 시즌 개막식 때도 초대를 한번 받았었는데요. 네, 한 9개월 만에 스타크래프트 2 팬 여러분들 만나게 되는 것 같은데요. 참 감회가 새롭네요.
It's really glad to see you StarCraft 2 fans after 6 months.
세계적으로 정말 큰 성장과 발전을 했다고 하는데요.
I've heard rumors that it's grown,
전 세계로 생중계된다고 하네요.
it's grown a lot
저희
globally.
레이디도 앞으로 더 열심히
And it is.
노력하겠습니다. 화이팅!
네, 오늘 슈퍼 토너먼트 결승전 윤상원 선수와 최성훈 선수가 주인공이잖아요. 살짝 보니까 두 분 모두 연예인 밤 되게
And
잘생기셨더라고요.
I've noticed that both MMA and Polt are very handsome.
두 가지를 모두 경비한 두 분, 오늘 정말 멋진 경기 보여줄 거라 믿고요.
I wish you show great performance today.
재밌게 즐기다 가시길 바랄게요.
네, 그럼 저희는 마지막으로 저희
So one more performance and then we'll have Faceless and Artosis back. This was Jack and John,
Nice to meet you all.
and I'll be translating again after this.
그저 감출 뿐이야. 멋을 아프다게
And we're here finally at the GSL Super Tournament Finals. I'm Tasteless. With me is Artosis. How you doing, brother?
It is the finals of the biggest tournament with the biggest cash prize ever in esports.
Dude, it's crazy, man. We're giving away essentially $100,000 here for first place. So much is on the line. Second place, I believe, leaving with about $30,000. That's quite a difference, Artosis.
The son of Slayer's Boxer, Slayer's MMA, against the son of Fake Boxer, a.k.a. Marine King Prime, Polt Prime.
Yeah.
There's a lot of storylines going on.
Terran versus Terran, I think this is one of the best mirror matchups we could ever have in RTS Finals here. These guys are both so talented. MMA winning the MLG. Polt with not quite the reputation that MMA has, but Polt is shooting through the ranks so quickly. I don't know what to expect from this guy in the future, but right now it's no shocker. He's here in the finals now.
That's it. You didn't know, but you know. Great things are what you're going to expect.
Thank you.
All right. Before we go any further, get on Twitter.
Yeah.
And let's get GSL trending. We got to get every nerd in the world
GSL.
here.
#, that's the number 3 key on your keyboard. # GSL. Talk about it, tweet about it. If you don't have a Twitter account, how the hell do you not have a Twitter account and you've been watching GSL? We talk about Twitter like 2 or 3 times a show.
Yeah.
Do that because that will actually spread the growth of the GSL.
We need to get it trending again. We haven't
done
this in a
trending
while.
worldwide.
This is such a huge finals. This is the biggest tournament in esports.
There's so much money.
Do it.
$100K on the line. A lot of people are like, man, it's not Code S for the team. Like, this is like the largest prize pool we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the largest one before that was largest in esports history. So this is then now, once again, now the largest.
We just keep going up, man. We're crazy.
Is not the first time I've casted a tournament in esports where it's the largest prize pool of all time. So talk about a tournament you'd want to win if you like money. And, you know, if you're in esports, you're this good. I mean, this is actually so much. This is enough to, you can do so much with this.
You're tired, man.
You could get 100,000 bottles of soju, You could get 1 million gumballs. You can get all sorts of stuff with this, man.
You could just load up. You could buy a boat, then load it up with pennies to sink it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good way to do it, man.
That's not a waste either.
No.
That makes perfect sense.
You're making a new reef for the fish.
All right, so again, this is GOMTV. We're sponsored by LG Cinema, G-Skill, and Intel. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Artosis, has been a little bit since we've commentated anything live. Ooh. I missed you. It is packed
we see
over
each other
here.
every day, Tasteless.
I get withdraw. Artosis withdraw easily. As you can see, guys, this is one of our most packed venues yet.
It's such a nice venue too.
It almost looks like on our screen. It looks like we're behind a green screen. We're actually here live. These people out behind me, it's full, and there's much more that we can't even get shots of here with the way the camera cranes are set up. Again, you're always welcome to come down to whether it's the studio. Or a finals like this where we rent out a conventional. It's free, so come down. I don't know why. I always get the same questions. Asked.
Yeah.
Even though people claim they're watching all the time. One's like, "How much does it cost to show up there?" It's free. It's free. So you can always come down here and check it out. Be a tourist.
How much does it cost, Tasteless?
It's free. Why do you keep asking me that? You're one of those people. That's enough.
I am. I have a bunch of fake accounts I message you with. All right. So MMA against Polt. I want your prediction. No explanation, just prediction to start.
MMA.
MMA?
Yeah,
score.
4-2. Yeah.
I'm going MMA 4-1.
Really?
Which is crazy, I know.
Well, no, it's not unprecedented. All right, let's take a look at our GSL Super Tournament finalists.
MMA, in his recent 10 sets against Terran, he is up 7-3. He's taking out Marine King, Ryung, two of the absolute best Terran versus Terran players in the world. Absolutely no doubt about it. Notice, he's beaten nothing but Terrans on his way through this tournament. Boxlin, OGS Supernova, Slayer's Gonzi, Slayer's Ryung, Marine King Prime.we. Unreal, Tasteless.
Yeah, I mean, you never really see a tournament where one guy has one matchup to get as far as he does. Inca, I think, was an exception, one of our earlier GSLs with Protoss versus Protoss.
Well, this is all the way to the finals.
But this
he
is
wins,
exactly,
it's TBT.
It's all the way to the finals. He already won the MLG, which Artosis and I had the pleasure of casting.
Yeah.
It was a real treat to be down there. And, obviously, coming from a situation like that, he's going to be feeling very confident. He's going to be feeling...
Well, he has stage experience, Tasteless.
Exactly. He's played in front of the world
had
before.
Huge crowds as well. He's already won a big, huge tournament. He's gotten that monkey off his back. That's one of the hardest things to do, is to actually finish it off. You know, he's just so unreal good.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
We've already known he could be a champion, essentially. He's done it once before at an international tournament. This is, of course, a different style tournament where, you know, each player gets about a week to prepare his build orders. So what we do know from MMA, seeing him in MLG, now here at the GSL, the battle of the alphabet here, we know that he can win a tournament where he has to have a bunch of well-rounded, solid builds back-to-back.
Yep.
Now can he be the champion of a tournament where they've both been taking days upon days to prepare the perfect builds and make sure that everything's perfect. Here's his opponent, the underdog in this case.
Yep.
Not to say he's not good. Look at the people he went up against here. Lucira, Huck, Maka, Alicia, and Top. What?
Yeah, that is actually insane. And look at those. I mean, 2-0 Huck, 3-0 Alicia. That is wild, man. This guy's TVP is off the hook, but so is his TVT, taking out Maka Prime and OGS Top. Some great players indeed. Well, there he is, man. There's our little Poltsky. And something that we do want to point out is that Polt goes to school. He's actually in one of the hardest.
Actually, it's the hardest, yeah.
University of Seoul. And, you know, sometimes you, like, watch anime or something, you, like, see all these stories about how over in the Asia, in bunny ear quotes, area, people study real hard to get in school. Korea studies so hard.
Oh, it's
Tasteless.
actually insane.
This guy is unbelievably smart.
You know what this means is he's truly a talented individual. He's basically in the Harvard of Korea.
Yeah.
Seoul National University, and somehow, what the hell, man? He's in the finals here at the GSL. So that's a lot of training time. That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it is.
And I got to commend the guy, even if he doesn't win this. It reminds me, it's like an older version of Lee Nok Foyu. Lee Nok Foyu, our youngest player here, still in, he's like a freshman in high school, I believe. But it's a hard work, being in school and being a professional gamer.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time to practice. A lot of time.
I could not do both. I can tell you one thing. When I was actually having success as a Starcraft 1 professional gamer in college, my grades did not. So if these guys are doing as well, that's something to, you know, really respect.
Yeah, it truly is. Now, this is going to be a best of 7. It's going to be some amazing TVT action. And I want to get into why I think MMA has what it takes. We've already talked about how, obviously, you know, he's had the experience on stage. You know, he's the son of Slayer's Boxer almost. You know, he's just kind of like the protege, the new protege. But on top of that, he took out Marine King Prime, which I think is very telling. Because Polt is kind of like the guy right below Marine King. You know, Marine King has like 3 finals.
We thought it was going to be Marine King in the finals, to be frank. Most people were predicting that.
Yeah. And Marine King, Polt has kind of modeled his style around Marine King's.
Yeah.
So you would think that the original would be the better one. Now, I'm not saying it is. Polt's pretty insanely good, but the fact that he's already taken out Marine King shows that this guy knows how to play against this style.
Well, he's going to have something else besides the Marine Marauder medevac style, where you're basically utilizing mobility and not so much, you know, army strength.
Yeah.
To try to basically get them out of position, counterattack, go into base trades. Now, Polt, you know, early on in previous GSLs, we saw this guy as somebody we thought might teeter off, might fade out.
Yeah.
And he's back with a boom. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of strategies he's going to execute in this series. I have no idea thus far, but we're only moments away from starting this. Now, on each map, these guys are entering with a specific type of plan. They're not going to wing it. They're not doing different stuff each time. And here's our map lineup now.
Melshire Beach, Metalopolis, Crossfire SE, Dual Site, Terminus Re, Zelmer Caverns, and if we get so far, Tasteless, if we are so lucky, it will be Crevasse to finish
I hope
it off
so.
on.
By the way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the LG Cinema 3D finals. Which we casted before this. This is actually, I think that was actually one of the closest. In fact, that was, no, let's be honest. That was the closest finals we've ever casted for GSL.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
Well, Marine King Nesty was pretty close as well.
Yeah,
I don't want to give it 100%.
I'm giving it to them.
All right.
You can hold it.
You do that? I'm going to hold it back.
I'm going to do it. All right.
I'm more conservative than you.
The first map is Belshire Beach, our newest map here at the GSL. Remember, each map requires a different strategy that they have planned. But what are their best maps?
Yeah.
Some of their best maps may be deeper into the tournament. They have to survive if that's the case. The first game in a series like this, the most pivotal. Let's do this. It's time. The GSL Super Tournament Finals. More money than we've ever given away before to an individual, $100,000. Only one man will take it. Who's it going to be? Let's find out here.
Slayers MMA versus Polt Prime Week.
Sponsored by LG Cinema 3D and Intel.
And it's on after the sponsor attack. Thank you, LG, Intel, and G-Skill for making this event possible. On to the game in the upper left. Our Terran player, the son of Slayer's boxer.
Slayers MMA.
And man, I'm under the impression that's going to pick up in my mic.
I think so, Tasteless.
Not obviously the blood son of Slayer's boxer, but he's been trained by him here. And now to the bottom right, new nerd on the block. We have
Polt Prime Week.
And right now the tournament is essentially split in half. We have about half the audience here cheering on for Polt, the other half cheering on for MMA.
You know, I'm just actually getting a little bit wiggly, getting a little bit teary-eyed to see what's going to go on here, man. I want to see what styles these guys are going to end up using. We have seen from MMA already some really interesting builds. Some of these Blue Flame Hellion builds keep your opponent in his base for a long time, and that may be what he's going for here. You got a very quick gas this game. Would not be too surprised.
You know, the Hellions, overall, in every single matchup, are just becoming more and more popular. It's interesting to see how much interesting stuff you can do with them. You can control the map, but you can also, if you get into a good situation, you can just zip in there and start burning down his workers.
Well, see some nice little artwork from his fans. There's the factory going up. Now, will he start a reactor soon here? Maybe a tech lab, get those blue flames out quick enough. It is a...
I blew my nose.
Everyone heard that.
I think that just picked up in the mic. That is a sound of tasteless boogers. All right. Sorry, I'll try to turn my mic up a little bit higher that time. All right, so double barracks.
Yeah, Polt opening up with double barracks play. And if he goes Marine Marauder and gets concussive shells, that'll be very strong against any Blue Flame Hellions or Red Flame Hellions, in fact, as well, that we see out of MMA. So that is something that he's going to have to take into consideration. You know, both of these guys showed a lot of TBTs before, so they had a lot to study from each other. Both of them going to have to make adjustments because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially MMA. He has so many documented Terran vs. Terrans in his esports career that if Polt wanted to sit back and study some, well, that's going to be very easy. And that's one of the problems is maybe TVT is his best matchup, MMA is his best matchup, but you know, the more success you have in that matchup, the more information's out there that can be used against you.
Yeah, exactly. And look at that, Stim first. So he's going to get Stim out of the way. And this is such an interesting build, man. These guys are really prepared for each other. And MMA looks like he's just going to go Marine, Red Flame Hellion, Medevac. And we have seen this before, just a little bit. It's a very interesting build, puts a lot of pressure on your opponent.
Polt is getting perhaps overly aggressive here. We're going to see. He's moving out with the Marines on the map. The Hellion has been chased off, but you know, there are going to be more Hellions coming out here in a little bit. I do like the positioning here of the Marauders. That's definitely out of the way. You know, Polt may be a bit surprised.
Yeah.
Or rather, MMA might be a bit surprised, when he sees that come at him.
I think you're completely right there, Tasteless. Now, we do have more Hellions on the way, more Marines on the way as well. And if this was just a Marine opening for Polt, you would get Raffle Stomp. But if he gets Stim and then, of course, concussive shells as well, it's going to be pretty sick. Well, more and more Marines on the way. Here comes the dropship. It has Marines in it. Will he try to divide up the forces of Polt?
All right, here we go.
Elevator
Into
time.
the main.
And
don't forget, these Marauders can be very helpful here. MMA might be in for a bit of a shock. Note the Marauder's still in the back. The element of surprise is gonna be there.
And dealing a lot of splash damage. MMA trying to get out of here and loses quite a few units. And suddenly Polt in a nice lead.
I want you guys to know we have an announcement. The GOMTV mobile service started. So go to m.gomtv.net. The GSL Season 1 webpage is now open. Just a few announcements we were informed to give you here. Back to the game. We have the command center almost finished here. The harassment isn't stopping.
And with Stim, that's going to give a lot away of what Polt is up to.
The medevac is getting low.
Yeah, he may in fact end up losing that, but this Stim attack Tasteless is going to be so difficult.
And you know, when you're harassing this much, you're not going to have a lot of units at home.
And he will take that down right away. Does not waste a Stim. Good move there by Polt. Can MMA hold?
And a Stim is going to be way too much damage way too quickly for him to deal with. Now, note, these are 3 depots. Even though theoretically MMA could make more units if he supply blocked, he certainly can.
And here we go. Can Polt get a kill off here?
He's getting a lot of SCVs. The tank a bit exposed here. You know, the SCVs can cover for the tank, but then at the end of the day, he's not going to have much of an economy here. And I think this may be GG in the next minute or two. The number of SCVs killed there was tremendous.
41 units lost. Holy crap. You know, he does have Banshees out. He has much better tech for MMA, so that's what he has actually going on. So he does have that expansion up. He does have better tech, but he's taking a lot of damage. Polt already has Stim researched. He can go ahead and do some more harassment if he wants. He could easily double expand here if he wants.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways he can go and still be ahead. And that's actually going to be even more difficult for MMA because there's no right answer for how exactly Polt can respond. It just, you know, as long as he stays on top of it. The Banshee's coming in here now. Now this, go ahead, Artos.
I was going to say it's 11 SCVs to 30 SCVs, so hugely behind. And with Stim, that Banshee not going to be able to do anything. I'm surprised he even sent it in there. When your opponent has Stim, a half-health Banshee will not do all that much, unfortunately. Now, Polt with 3 times the economy is going to float out his expand.
He may just actually make a bunch of units and just bludgeon MMA.
Yeah, I think he may.
That's actually the most straightforward, easy way to win. And frankly, in game number 1, you don't need a double expand. You could. Now, you could, but then, I mean, you're spreading yourself a little bit thin. You can just make so much more in attack. That may be what we're going to see here.
Well, we'll see. Siege mode is on the way for MMA. So if he sets up a nice siege line and Polt tries what you suggest, Tasteless, there is a comeback possibility.
Yeah.
You know, if he can kill off an army or two, just keep producing his SCVs, catch up economically eventually, then he might be able to bring this game back.
Siege mode on the way, as you said, Artosis. The other factor, though, is that he can just drop the main.
Yeah, that's quite true.
And I think what we're going to see is, what I'm talking about, where he just sort of moves out and checks and says, can I kill you now? No? All right, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. All right, don't leave Belshire Beach.
Stay right there.
I'm going to change that.
Don't check out. Hellion's scouting exactly what's going on. MMA is going to want to go into super defensive mode now.
Now, MMA cannot hold his expansion. That's why he's turtling into his main.
Smart move. No SCVs to send there anyways. Kind of pointless. And that medevac is going to be down.
Whoa!
Nice placement there.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect him to actually scan and do that, but that's...
And,
oh my God, he's actually going to get the orbital. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
And everything just going down. Polt bludgeoning. Totally destroying poor MMA here.
And I would say expect GG now.
Yeah. He cannot hold this.
No.
It is over.
GG.
Polt takes game 1. Wow. His build order there.
Look at that confidence, Artosis. You can really see it in his face.
Dude, his build order was just so well prepared.
Well,
there.
you know what's interesting about it as well is that MMA's build order just happened to not work against what Polt was doing.
Yeah, and
I think he thought that MMA probably thought his opponent was going to try to expand and do something standard, like Marine King Prime, try to do some sneaky stuff and slip into his base, and Polt's like, what? No, just killed him.
MMA, I would love to point out, lost the first 2 games against Marine King Prime. So, don't have to worry too much.
Get on Twitter, hashtag GSL, spread the word.
Add Artosis and add Call Me Tasteless. We want you guys to get the GSL trending. It's very important.
We do.
Whether you think so or not, if you don't think so, you're wrong.
You're selfish.
That's okay.
It's being selfish is not a good quality to have.
No.
So get on Twitter and spread the word. I'm serious with this. I want multiple hashtags at GSL. I know there's always the whiny bitch nerd at home that doesn't get why, they should be trying to help and contribute. If you want esports to grow,
no. We'll never stop until
he's on the
takes over
form.
the world.
I don't understand why Keezy's in her tooth. No, listen, man. If you want esports to grow and take over the world,
this is just one way that we do it.
This is one way to help.
Do your part.
Do your part. Be a trooper. Be a team player.
By the way, you know what?
There's
a lot of GSL parties
There's no
going
I
on.
in team, but there is in Twitter. All right, so get on Twitter and do that. All right,
that's cute.
Yeah, let me get that one out there.
A lot of GSL parties going on, so hi to all you guys in parties.
Yeah, apparently we were trying to stream in some of those parties. Oh, we're going to have a 2-minute break. I'll talk about that when we get back.
Hi to
See you soon.
Toronto.